Welcome to a little short sequence to help build strength around the hips and the core. For those of us who might have a little back pain, a little hip pain, you're going to need a yoga strap and some type of pillow or ball that you can put between your knees. But we're just going to start out with some breath. Just find a comfortable seat on the floor, close your eyes, and just begin to breathe in and out your nose. And as you breathe, just see if you can lengthen your inhales and your exhales. You'll feel the effect of just slowing your breath on your body. Maybe focus on the breath going into your low back and hips. Expanding that space, creating a little bit more release, a little bit more nourishment. We're going to take this flowing breath into our tabletop position so you can focus on moving your spine. Let's round into cat pose. Pull the belly in, drop the head, and then lengthen the head up and lift your chest, tailbone into cow pose. Exhale, breathe and round the spine. Inhale, lengthen and open the heart. And as you're here, this is where we do our organic movement. So you can stick with cat and cow, or if you'd like, take your body through some more movement, maybe hip circles. Make sure you're breathing when you do this, exhaling slowly and inhaling slowly. You could do barrel rolls with your chest. Anything that feels good to the body here. We're just trying to move the spine in different directions, tail wagging, side bends, and really focusing on slowing down a little bit, but not having a lot of structure to your movement. And you could even move yourself into downward facing dog if that's something that feels good for you, and start to stretch your calves, shake your head out a little bit. And press your heels down and lengthen the spine. And slowly come down to your tabletop position. And we're going to roll over onto your back. And this is where I'd like you to grab your yoga strap. And you want something firm so that when you push against it, it doesn't move. I like the one with the D-ring in it. I'm going to put the strap around your thighs, about mid-thigh height. And put it nice and snug, about hip-width apart. And you're going to allow your body to lay down, and as you lay down, as you inhale, lift your hips and push your legs out into the strap, because that's going to start to wake up your hip muscles. And as you exhale, lower slowly down. And just repeat that, inhaling, rolling up, pressing out, and exhale, coming down. Let's do about 10 breath cycles, lifting and lowering with your breath. Feeling the nice engagement of the muscles around the hips. Should feel really good. Waking up that area. Remember to keep pushing out into the strap all the way up and all the way down. You'll really start to feel those muscles turn on. If you feel any fatigue or if it's too much, just come down and rest and then re-begin when you feel ready. And when you're done with those, just bring the knees into the chest, give those hips a little stretch. And you can kind of straighten your legs out, because sometimes the back of the legs will get a little stiff after that movement. And when you're ready, come back down and try another set. We're going to work towards 3 sets of around 10 breath cycles. So you're really getting your legs that feedback and time to get stronger. nice and slow. Inhale as you lift. Exhale as you lower. You've done about 8 or 10 breath cycles up and down. Bring the knees back into the chest. Let those hip muscles relax. You could do some knee circles. We'll finish with one more set of bridges. Inhaling, pushing out. Exhaling, lowering slowly. By now you'll probably feel a lot of activation in the back of your legs and the sides of your hips. And that's getting you stronger. It's giving your hips support. Taking the stress off the hip joint. So think about all the good things that are happening as you feel the sensations of those muscles firing up. You're going to bring your knees back into your chest. When you do that, you can take your strap off, put it to the side, open your arms wide, put your feet as wide as your mat, move into a spinal twist flow. With the feet wide, it helps your knees to be a little bit further apart. You're just going to go from side to side. Inhale as your knees come up, exhale as your knees come over. And this is going to start to stretch the outer part of the hips that we just worked. First, we kind of move in and out. And after a few windshield wiper moves, go to one side and hold the stretch. Let that hip just release. If you want more, you can take that bottom leg and put your foot on the top of the thigh and you'll get a deeper stretch. If that's too much, just leave your foot on the floor. And hold that for about 5 to 10 breath cycles. When you're ready to switch sides, same pose, just go the other direction. Let your knee rest down towards the ground. If it feels too much, you can put a pillow under your knee. If you want a little more, you can take your foot and just gently use the weight of your leg to help that stretch increase on the outer hip. Back to center. Next, we're going to move to the core. We're going to come back to those bridges in a different way, but now we're going to work on the core stability, especially across the abdominal area. So as you notice, if you arch your spine, you'll have more space under your back, and if you flatten your spine, it takes away the space. So we want to find some place in the middle between a big arch and a flat spine. So you can play with rocking your pelvis up and back until you find what you feel like is a midpoint there, where you're not arched and you're not flat. It's where you feel comfortable. And that's where we want to work, because this is where you are creating your stability. So when you walk around and move upright, you're in that natural space. And we'll start with both knees lifted right over your hips. It's real important that your knees aren't too far into your belly. It makes it too easy. And if they're too far out, it puts strain on the back. So right above the hips, place your fingertips on your belly just so you're going to feel the contraction. As you exhale, lower one foot to the floor. And as you inhale, bring it up. And what's happening as you exhale? Shh. Blow out your mouth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale. Shh. Out your mouth. Inhale through your nose. Shh. Continue doing this. And what's going to happen is when you lower your leg, it's going to want to pull your back off the ground into a bigger arch. What you're doing is you're using that exhale and that strength of your abdominals to prevent the back from arching. And that's where you're going to get stronger. So if it's too hard, just bend your knees more so you don't have to go as far down. If it's too easy, straighten your legs more so you have a little bit of a longer lever arm trying to pull that back off the floor. And we're going to go for about 10 to 12 repetitions. So when you do one leg and then the other, that's one repetition. Because you want to build endurance in these muscles. So 10 to 12 repetitions. And after you've done 10 to 12, you take a rest and then you do 2 more sets. So the rule of 3, it's always nice to do 3 sets. Builds enough repetition to build strength. And if you get tired, if your back starts hurting or if the front of your hips start cramping up, just place your feet down and rest. We call this constructive rest. You're just laying flat on the floor. You can even plop your knees together to really rest. Then when you get ready again, you go right back to where you were. Hands on the belly. Exhale as you lift. Inhale as you lower. So let's do 10 together. That was 1. 2, it helps to count and it helps to breathe out your mouth. 3. 4. It's a very simple exercise, but one of the most effective at building stability in that spinal area. So it's really, really important. That's 7. We're going to do 10 today. 8. 9. 10. And then again, you take a rest. Hug your knees into your chest and or place your feet on the ground. You can even plop your knees in or stretch your legs out. If you feel a lot of cramping in the front of the hips, just stretch your legs out. And then we're going to do one more set, remembering knees directly over hips, not too close, not too far, fingertips on the belly. Exhale as you lower, inhale as you come up. And just focus on the sound of your breath. Focus on what you're feeling getting stronger. That's 6. We only have 4 more. 8. 9. And 10. And you should feel fatigued after that. If you didn't, you should go to that position that's a little harder. So we're going to go one knee into your chest to release, because this muscle was definitely working in the front of the hips. We want to kind of just release it, shake that leg a little bit, get some of the tension out of there. And then switch legs again. One knee to the chest, the other leg is just going to be lazy. You can shake it around. We're just trying to let go of any tension that might have come in there. From here, we're going to get the pillow or the ball, and we're going to work the inner thigh. And the reason we're pushing the ball in is to integrate the core here. So you're squeezing the ball in towards the midline. Your feet are under your knees, about a hand's width from your hips. And same thing as we did before, lift up, squeeze the ball, lower down, release. But you're squeezing it the whole time. Breathing. I find it helpful to inhale up and exhale down, but it doesn't matter. Again, we're going to do 3 sets of 10 to 15. The more you do this sequence, I want you to increase the repetitions. And then the more you increase the repetitions, you can start to feel that you're getting that endurance and those core stability muscles. This is around 7, 8, 9, and 10. Take the ball or the pillow out, bring your feet together and let your knees fall out. This is supine butterfly. It's a great way to relax after working those groin muscles. And just let gravity do this for you. You don't have to do one thing in this pose. You're just relaxing. So here maybe about 5 breath cycles. And you're going to take that same pillow or ball, put it on between your thighs, feet maybe a hand's width from your hips. Inhale, lift, press the ball, exhale, lower. The whole time you're feeling those inner thigh muscles help you out. You're still working on those glutes, getting them strong. And you don't really have to breathe out through your mouth like I just did. You can just breathe in and out through your nose. This is 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Keep squeeze that ball all the way to the bottom. Take the ball or pillow out. Feet together, knees apart, supine butterfly. The yoga name for this is Supta Baddha Konasana. Ready? Let's do that third set. Lifting and lowering. Press into the inner thighs, into that ball. This doesn't feel that hard, hopefully. This actually is a very subtle exercise that doesn't feel really hard when you're doing it, but it's super effective at starting to reawaken the muscles that are supposed to support us internally, to keep us stable in our back and hips. We got about 2 more lifts. You can finish again with that supine butterfly, Supta Baddha Konasana, letting your knees fall out. Really relaxing the inner thighs. They just did a lot of work for you. From here, we're going to go into a nice stretch for the muscles in the hips. It's called figure 4. Take one leg across the other. Push that knee away. So you're actually pushing the knee away. For a lot of people, this is plenty of a stretch. You're feeling most of the stretch in the bent leg and the outer hip. If you want more, you start to reach. The strap is a great tool if you have a hard time reaching. You can use your strap and pull that thigh closer. Try not to exert a lot of effort. So sometimes when people grab their leg, they're really reaching and grabbing. I want you to be totally relaxed in your upper body. So this feels very passive. Another option would be to put this foot up on the wall or a chair so that you're doing absolutely nothing with your arms. And this is stretching all the muscles in the outer hip. And then you simply switch sides. So other leg across. Remember, we're pressing the knee away and then reaching through with the strap of our hands and pulling the other leg in. So you can almost see I'm still pressing that knee away as I pull the other leg in. And slightly release. We're going to roll back over onto our hands and knees, back into tabletop. Here we're going to move into spinal balance. So the job here is for you to keep this part still, the back and the belly. So we don't want it arching, we don't want it rounding like cat-cow. We want it to be in that neutral position. So you find that neutral position, keep your gaze down, lift one leg behind you. Keep the belly strong, push into the floor and lift the opposite arm. And you're just going to hold. So maybe 5 breath cycles, building that strength right here. And then switch. You may notice one side is more difficult than the other. The leg that's on the ground, this bottom leg, I'm pushing through my whole shin, so I'm not on my knee and toes because that can bother the knee and feels really unstable. Flatten your ankle as best you can, push down through your shin, push down through your hand, lift out of gravity. And when you're ready to switch, you simply switch. So rather than sinking into the gravity, as you see here, if I sink in and let my joints do the work, it starts to bother my joints. I'm really going to push out of gravity, so I'm pushing into the surface with my leg, with my hand. I'm lifting and switch sides. It really makes a difference whether you're engaging or just what we call propping. So think of engaging, yielding, supporting, not propping and hanging. Keep your gaze down so your neck is long, chin towards your chest with a size of an apple between your chin and your chest. Let's do one more set each side. And you could certainly do more of these. More interested in you building stability here than I am lots of repetition. And then other side. And we're strengthening your shoulder girdle as well here. And finally, the last one for the hips. Try a side plank. So this also addresses your shoulder girdle. You're going to bring your shoulder back. And notice my knees are in line with my hips. They're not forward. And all you're going to do is push down into the ground. So I'm lifting the side of my hip off the ground. And it's your choice how long you want to hold it. If you want to make it harder, lift body parts. If you want to make it easier, support. Maybe put one foot forward. There are lots of options here. It's about building that outer hip side body strength. So we're holding it maybe 30 seconds, which is about 5 to 8 breath cycles. And then when you're ready, you switch sides. Simply go to the other direction. Important alignment, knees in line with hips, shoulder on your back, not rolled forward, elbow under the shoulder. Hand can be like slightly catty corner, it doesn't need to be straight. And then push into the earth, pushing down to lift up. You can hold it here. You can lift a leg, you can lift an arm. Smile. Notice which side is more challenging. I definitely notice one side is a lot more challenging than the other, and that would probably be your less stable side. It's not a big deal, it's just interesting to notice. One side is a little bit easier than the other. If you start to feel it in your hip joint, feel it in any joint space versus muscle, come down and rest or give yourself more support. Let's do one more on each side. Knees in line with hips. Your arm is slightly outward, shoulder is on your back. Push down to lift up. Find the lift that challenges you. You should feel like it's a little bit of burning. It's not like it's supposed to feel super fun. But think of the burning as hard work. And as long as you're not losing your alignment, you're actually getting stronger. And you'll notice every time as you practice this, you can increase the time you're here. Maybe build up to 30 seconds, a minute, 45 seconds. Come down, let's do one more on the other side. Knees in line with hips, shoulder under, elbow under shoulder, shoulder blade on the back, lift up. Maybe stay right here or add body parts. Make sure you're not flexing your hip. Pull your pelvis forward. And this is a great sequence to do with music. Once you get used to it and know what the moves are, you don't need to listen to me, just put on some music. Okay, we're going to go from here into a twist to stretch. So take one leg over the other, make sure both sit bones are on the ground. Inhale and then exhale and twist towards your knee. Long, slow breath. Untwist and take the leg that was up, bring it into your groin, and the other leg is out. So this is for that side. You just really worked your side. It's a seated twist. So our foot is not way out, it's not way in, it's kind of halfway. You're going to turn. Well, let's do knee to, first we're going to do a side twist. This is called head to knee pose. As you can see, my head is nowhere near my knee. The important thing is I'm rolling back, pressing this hip down, and I'm feeling a stretch from my ribs to my hip. That's where you're getting the nice opening in the side body. And then once you're in the posture, breathe into that side. And after 3 or 4 breaths, simply turn your head towards your knee and flop over that leg. You can be really rounded here. In fact, I like to take my hands, grab the shin, and push away and round my back on purpose. And then take your breath into your low back on that side. You can stay here as long as you want. This usually feels good. It's more restorative. When you're ready to come up, and change your twist. So now your opposite leg is across. You're going to lengthen, make sure your hips on the ground, and turn towards your knee. Unwind your twist, take the leg that was across, put it in, and the other leg out, about 45 degrees. Turn away from your leg that's out, lift your arm up and reach over. And really focus on pressing that hip down. Whatever knee is bent, push that hip down as you stretch your arm over, and it's going to feel really good. Breathe into that side body. Then turn your nose towards your knee, grab your shin, push away, exhale, round the spine, let your head go. Slowly inhale, rise back up. Find your easy seated pose. For some people, it's sitting with their ankles cross stacked. For other people, it's bringing one shin in front of the other. We call this Sukhasana. If you're sitting and your knees are way up here, sit up on a pillow. It's going to make it easier. For other people, they go, I can't do it, but they go into half lotus. Figure out what your hips are able to do, where you feel easeful, and then hold that position. If you want a deeper stretch, fold forward, rounding the spine. It's nice to push your hands into the ground and pull your belly in, pressing the tailbone back. I'm actually rounding my spine on purpose. I'm not trying to keep it straight. It's like a turtle pose. Now, as soon as you breathe about 8 to 10 breaths, switch legs, because sides are different and hips are different. On this side, you might go to the easier pose, sit up on a block, or you might be super open on this side and do a half lotus. Find the one that's best for you. Hands forward, round the spine. Remember to push the floor away and breathe into your low back. Slowly come back up. As we end our sequence for the hips, low back, core, let's just stretch the chest. Clasp your hands. Your elbows can be bent. Lift the heart. And think of something you're grateful for. Breathe that into your body, into your mind, into your being. Release the hands. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Namaste.